Creating e-commerce packshots that look like this used to involve a really expensive photoshoot. In this video, I will show you how you can generate packshots like this from the base images of your product in any environment that you would like using OpenAI image generation model and Airtable. And all those images that you can see over here, they are all created directly from base images based on prompt and on the references. So I will show you the whole tutorial. Stick around, you will see more. Hi, this is Greg from Business Automated, and on this channel we help you save time and money with useful solutions to automate your business. If you have not already, consider subscribing. That helps us produce more useful videos for you. Alright, so this is the interface that I'm using to generate the images, but let me show you first the Airtable base underneath. And you can see that this is fairly straightforward. So we have the list of products that we would be using. Then the next item is prompts. So here we have a general name of the prompt. Here in this field, we have a more detailed description of what that prompt entails. And here finally, we have a reference that we can use to add to our image generation. And then the final tab is basically the images that are being generated. So you can see that this is a very simple base. Let's delete the images over here. And now let's move over to the interface. So you can see that inside of interface, let's go first to the prompts that we have over here. So inside of prompts, I have generated 3 different prompts. So the first one says, create a lifestyle image with a graffiti urban background. Then the second prompt is create an image with a person wearing the shoes sitting on a chair. Only show the legs and part of the chair. And the final prompt is create image of the shoes in the same layout as the reference image. Adjust the background color from blue to match the shoes. So you can see that this is a reference image when you have shoes displayed in this specific format with a background. So now when we go over here to the products, within the interface, we can operate this interface in 2 ways. So what we can do here is we can, for example, select prompts from here, and we can select multiple prompts. And we can press button over here, trigger images. When we trigger images, there is an automation that is running in the background that based on this status change to trigger images will run a script. And you can see the description of the script in the reference, in the links in this video. It will trigger a scenario in make.com. We'll discuss it later. And it will start generating the images. It will take a few moments before this is generated. So we can move on to the next stage. You can see this one is in progress. So I could do the same thing with the image over here, or I could basically open it here and I could select prompts from this field over here. So just a different way of doing the same thing. So you can see what it says, and also you can see the reference image. So for example here, let's select only this prompt and for example the last one with the corner display. Or maybe let's change it and let's select the one that is using chairs and legs. All right, and here also we can have 2 ways of generating this. One of them is using a webhook, which would be basically a formula over here that triggers a webhook inside of Make. And the second one is, which is my preferred way, is using trigger the images from here. So this way we can trigger multiple products and we can see what is the status of those products, whether they have been completed or not, so that we can get some feedback from that stage. And let's also generate the images for this one. So you can see it's going quite fast. And once the images are done, you can see this will change to done. It will delete prompts from here, so we can try it one more time if we would like to add another version of this image. So for example, let's open the version over here, and you can see that we have 2 images generated. So this was a general urban background, and the second one was legs together with a chair. So we had legs with the chair, and you can see that our reference image actually took a little bit more of the original image. So we can actually delete that. If I'm not liking this, we can go over here and we will remove this one. And we'll try one more time with the background. Let's see what it does. Another element that I have added over here. So once we click, for example, the images over here, you can see the images that are being displayed here on top. But you also can see that we have an image here, which allows us to open this image and do some additional edits to this image. Like when I open this edit, you can see that the logo is not very visible. So the model kind of did the background and the shoes correctly, but the logo is not very precise. So what I will do over here is I will add additional editing prompt. And here I would also press the button called Edit Image. For this button, there is another automation that works exactly the same way that is attached to the images table. And now this will trigger another edit automation that is happening in the background to edit those images. So you can see now I got a version of the Converse shoes that looks a bit better. So this is more in line with what I was expecting. And the benefit of having the same prompts for multiple images and having references is that when you create those images, you can have them look fairly consistent for different designs. So for example, when we had a prompt with the chair, we have 3 different images that they could have different products, but you can see that the setting would be looking fairly the same. So let's go back over here. Let's see how our correction looked like. So let's go down and we can see our corner display. You can see now we have the old image at the back and we have the new image, and you can see that on the new image we actually have a not exactly perfect one, but we have a better display. So maybe this would have to be edited manually, but you can see that there is an improvement. The logo is looking better and all the text is looking better as well. So we could try to do it one more time. This might work, this might not work, but it will be a simpler edit if this is already in place. Alright, and we got the third image, and you can see that it's also misspelling the letters a bit. So just for you to be aware that it will not always be perfect in terms of being able to spell the letters, but it can stick to following a certain guidelines and certain style of the images based on your prompts. Okay, so now let's see how this is being set up once this automation over here fires. So this or the button would trigger this scenario inside of make.com, and in the description of this video you'll be able to download this generation scenario as well as this update packshot scenario. So just a very quick walkthrough, not to go too much into the details. What we get over here is the record ID that allows us then to get the data of this product from Airtable so that we can pull in more data and iterate over the individual images that we have. And this module over here, it's a simple hack in case you are using button not to keep that window open, to be able to basically just close the window so it doesn't open additional tab in your browser. So it's just a simple function that does that. And the next step over here is we are downloading the images. So you can see that we are iterating over the base images that are in the record. Once we do that, we are aggregating this into this data structure that we can see in the next module, in the OpenAI module. So you can see that we're using the target data structure, which is the OpenAI images over here. And this is then just a simple mapping of the data that will come from the download URL. Once we get that, we do another element because we are putting multiple prompts over here. So you can see that here we have the ability to select multiple prompts at once so that you can generate multiple images at once. We are also iterating over each individual prompt. So you can see that here, if we have 3 prompts, this iterator would basically go one by one for each one of them. We get the details of the prompt. If there are any reference images, we would download those reference images from this step. So it could be one reference image, but you could also add multiple reference images over here. And then the next step that we do here, we are using the edit images module. Even when we generate new image, we just use the edit image because it allows us to add images here. And you can see that we are combining 2 arrays. So these are our base images and the next one are our reference images. The model that we select here is the GPT-1, and this is where the prompt go. You could also play around with the quality of the image, with the size of the image that you'd be expecting and so on. Those could also come from the initial prompt setting that you have in Airtable. All right. Once we do that, we need to save this file somewhere because the response that we get is basically a buffer, binary buffer with the file. So we need to save it somewhere so that we can upload this to Airtable. We are using Google Drive for this, so we also get a copy on our Google Drive. We are sharing this to make sure that this link is publicly available so that Airtable can access it. And then we are just creating a record inside of the images table and then updating the original record of the product to make sure that we change the status of that product and clean up the prompts. And for the editing part, this is also fairly straightforward. we get the image that should be edited, we get the information about that image, mainly the prompt, we get the file, and in the edit part, we provide that file that we collected from that record and add the correction prompt to edit that specific image, and then again upload this to Google Drive. This is just a hack for us to have this in the format of array, so that when we are uploading this back to Airtable, we can add the old images together with the new images. So this way the new image is added in front of the old images, so you can be basically saving multiple images into the same image field. And if we would ask for another edit, what goes into there is the first image from this list. So this is the reason why we're using this aggregator, so that we can have two arrays that we can combine over here. And then we just empty the correction prompt and then change the status to done. And that's it. So that's basically that simple scenario to edit images, and that's the scenario to generate the images. So you'll be able to download the scenarios from the description of this video, as well as you'll be able to get the link to this base. So hopefully this will help you in your work and generating products for your websites. And yeah, let me know if this was useful for you, and good luck automating your business.